Okay, the next thing you want to explore after installing the engine and playing with some templates and downloading some projects is the content examples. So I just went to Fab, typed in content examples, so that should be right here. And we'll make sure this is updated. This is last updated just a few days ago. It's August 21st. This was last updated August 19th. Very nice. So you can view in the library, view in launcher. I believe I've always download this and zip it up and provide it as a classroom example. So if you want to go get the latest one, that would be great. I do have a link to it already inside my class examples. You can see it's been around since it very first came out with Unreal Engine 4, which then flowed into Unreal Engine 5. And they've kept the UI mostly the same between 4 and 5, which was really huge that they left blueprints and not like Unreal 3 to 4, which they switched from Kismet the updates. So yeah, this should give you a great, open the launcher, this should give you a great overview of all the different content examples for the main categories that exist within Unreal Engine. So down here, here's the content examples technical documentation, which will take us again. Yay, they're using the dev community again. And here's the content examples from Fab, so it's a little loop there. But here's a great picture with all the different maps that come in there. It's huge. Animations, assets, blueprints, Candyland, character, demo room, demo room, destruction, chaos, effects, and right this. So knowing what these examples are, props, materials, systems, sound, um, this really helps organize your brain and get to know like what uh, different areas of game engines and game development in general you should get to know. So let's take a look at this in detail. Okay, so getting used to this Fab interface, if I click here, view in my library, it's going to go to my library that's within the Fab context interface. So control rig, examples pack, pose, driver connect. Um, but I'm still like legacy here in my library. I've, for I don't know how many years now, I've been downloading all of these different projects. Here you go. So you can kind of see here what I'm talking about. How many projects have I downloaded over the years? They've left access to things as they switched over from the Fab Store. So VFX, Fire and Flames, Matinee, materials, master learning from different tutorials. There's MetaHumans. So you see the content example, the project in the sheer quantity of projects you can download is and have access to is really mind blowing. So you want to be really careful with that. But you want to get the content examples. So if I go in here, I should have mine. Let's see if mine are older or not. So I'm going to scroll down here and go to the search and just type in content. Oops, make sure I can spell right. There you go, content examples. And so if I need to, I go in here and create project. And of course, it's going to have me browse once again. It's going to go to its default, but I'm going to redirect it here. And I have blueprint example gameplay, Fire Temple Galleries handheld. So it looks like it don't. If I go to 2024, so last year, I do have the content examples there from last year. And even that one's a little older. So if I go here to 2025, I'm going to grab that one and I'll hit create. And you'll see it is 10 gigabytes. Okay, so again, be careful. Get an external hard drive at the start of class. Get a terabyte. You'll need it. You're going to crash your system, and most likely, even if, especially if you're on a laptop. So let's take a look at those. Okay, so I just hopped on NewEgg.com, typed in external SSD. So here you go. So $100 gets you 2 terabytes. That is awesome. At 20 gigabytes, the speed is great. So solid state. Here's a terabyte. Wow, 1 terabyte for 150 bucks. So, um, you know, depending on how you're using it, if you need a portable one for a laptop, you can get a big one here that, there's larger ones, but these are all nice little small ones. I have a lot of these little Samsung ones. Crucial. I get the ones with the little extra shock absorption, but you gotta be really careful if you're gonna put all your data on one of these. So 2 terabytes is 100 bucks. That should give you the freedom to download and install and run off the SSD and make sure that you don't crash your computer. The other thing you can do is look for a gaming PC, right? And Newegg has great deals. Look at this, 500 bucks. Jeez. Probably a little smaller than what a 16 gigabyte DDR. But what I do is I go over here to the price and to the specifications, and I'll go like at least an i7. I'll go for the RAMs. You want to get at least like 32 gigabytes of RAM, something like that. So I'll do like a quick specification. You guys can take a look at that. Okay, so in the Newegg interface, I went through. I didn't do anything on the price. You can, set your price range. Probably 1,000 is about the average for a decent Windows system. It's going to last you at least 2 or 3 years. You can get them cheaper, and there's almost always good discounts here. It's 23% off, 18% off, and you can wait for I think they're called doorbusters, something like that. But I went for at least an i7. i9 is what I have. It really does make a difference jumping. The CPU is the latest, but if you're trying to save money, just do i7 on there. And I went ahead and checked i5 as well. I wouldn't go lower than that. But that's gonna, whoops, it's gonna show you both of those. Oh, I didn't know I was turning them on and off the whole time. I thought I was collapsing them. There we go. I was just trying to collapse those. Okay, and then SSD, I would say at least a 1 terabyte at least for solid state, so you have plenty of space. Memory DDR, I would just click on a DDR5. You could go DDR4 as well, I suppose, and you'll get some less expensive pieces here. And you can sort by the cheapest to lowest. Where'd that setting go? It's up here somewhere. So you can see up here memory capacity, storage, and CPU. Now I did skip the video card because I figure you just look at the video card and get what you can afford on these. So here's a good one. Here's a Stormcraft i5, 12 gigabyte, 32 gigabytes. That's good. RAM, a 1 terabyte space. I don't see what the Intel. Let me see what the graphics card was. Maybe I should turn on the graphics card after all. Let's go ahead and do that. So right here is the video cards type. And I think if you're going at least, I'd go start here at 5 and start at least there, hit apply. And this is going to make these jump about $100. Not too bad. This is the minimum specification I would suggest. So you want DDR4 or higher, at least 1 terabyte of solid state, an i5 or higher, although I would recommend an i7. And then you want a G series at least 5 or higher. And for, again, 1K, look at that. It's pretty standard. You're going to see, here's one for 800. I was looking at that one a moment ago. 900, 32 gigabytes, you got more than minimum. i5, there's the GeForce RTX 5060, not great, but not terrible. GPU, yeah, it's 8 gigabytes. That's what the minimum you want. So 8 gigabytes RAM, right? Let's take a look at this against the specification. Okay, so I'm back to the recommended hardware specifications page. So you can see here, memory 32 gigabytes of RAM, and you'll see over here we have RAM 32 gigabytes of RAM, right? So it's got two 16 gigabyte sticks, so that's good. Graphics RAM, 8 gigabytes or more. And we're looking down here at the GPU, that's your graphics processor unit, right? And you'll see the RTX 5060 has 8 gigabytes of RAM, okay? The processor is a little 2.5 or higher. We got an i5. Let's see if it does say the processor speed. I wish it did. I'm not sure if the i5 is going to be fast enough. So for some of these, again, I'm not super techy anymore. Like I used to, I don't build my own computers. Let's go. How fast in is, there we go. Let's see if it gives us a quick A. So 4.6 gigahertz. This says 2.5 gigahertz. So there you go. Everything's out there on the internet, y'all. Just, AI. Great answer, quick. I'm just to trust it for now. 4.7, so it's twice as fast. So that's good. i5 does work then. That's good to know on the minimum specifications. So maybe if you need to get even cheaper on your system, you could go up here and you could remove the i7. I hate to do it, but I'm trying to get the cheapest computer possible for any of you that need one that is going to last you at least 2 or 3 years. So 99, yeah, 999. There we go. Going on down the line here. So these all have an RTX. They all have a video card. They all have the RAM. They all have the i9. So this is looking pretty good. And all of these get a warranty. If you are getting the cheapest system possible, then I would also get one even less, but then get a warranty for a couple hundred, maybe 100. So if I go in here to this piece right here, got some nice lights on it. GeForce RTX, cool. And if I go in here, 809, add to cart, and there you go, 2 year, $100. So yes, get the warranty. Any one of these, it doesn't matter what computer you get, in my opinion. Like this could be a $5,000 computer, this could be an $800 computer. Any one of the component pieces, the CPU, like my CPU failed. I bought a brand new computer, the i9, you know, $1,000 processor, and it failed on me, and it ruined my productivity for a year or half a year because I didn't know what was happening, and I was so busy I didn't want to take my whole system down and get it looked at and run the test. So I finally did it, and it turned out my i9 CPU, which had known issues, which I'm like, okay, great. Almost every one of these hardware components have some known issue. Nothing's perfect, right? So get a warranty, keep your packaging, and if you need to, call and maintain your computer good. You can always swap out a processor. You can always upgrade your RAM if your motherboard is good enough. But I don't want to get into that right now. $800, that's a good computer. I would say, take this link here, and maybe send that out and say, okay, this looks like it might be decent enough, and help people out that need to get their new computer to get through their gaming classes. Because having an old 7-year-old Mac laptop to run Unreal Engine, man, good luck. It's not happening. You're just gonna be miserable. So you need to have a decent rig to do game development on, and all of these prices look pretty good. If you wanted to upgrade, of course, the first thing I would do is I would maybe get rid of the 16 and the 32 altogether. And I would go to at least the i7, i9, remove those. Just going to free up some of the memory capacity down here. And there we go. And I would look at the AMD, I'd look at the higher end video cards as well. Maybe get rid of a couple of these lower ones right there. And let's see, i9s, i7s. Yeah, so then I would check this one. I would try to get up to 64. 128 might cost a bit more, but now you're up around 1500, right? That's been like that for me for 10 years. It's either 1000 or 1500, or you're hopping up to 2500 and 3500. But we're spoiled that we get this tech this cheap is pretty amazing. So here's one for 16 that has an i7, that has a terabyte, that has 12 gigabytes of video RAM, so a little bit faster processors for 1600. So that one might last you an extra year, right? That's your trade-off. You want to get a 2 year computer, 2 or 3 year computer, or a 3 or 4, or maybe even 5 year computer. I swap mine out almost religiously after 3 or 4 years. Like 4 years is pushing it, 3 years, because the tech changes so fast. So yeah, here's one for 1,000 terabyte, i7, 8 gigabyte. That's not a bad deal. It's 200 more, but you have an i7, so it's a much faster processor. Same size video RAM, same size. It's still RTX. Here's a 16 gigabyte RAM. Yeah, see 3,000, but still, it's a good deal. There's a percentage off there. All right, I hope that helps everybody out there decide, what your specifications are before you download the content samples projects here. Before you do this this big giant, was it 10 or was it 10 gigabytes just for one? So if you're downloading 10, 11 projects and they're gigabytes each, that's something you got to plan for. So you got to really clean out. I like this Parrot Island. We're working on a prototype 3D side scroller. That was pretty cool. So, all right, yeah, see you in the next video. I hope you get the content examples downloaded if you can, and get some extra solid state hard drive space, right? And at least this first week in class, at least get yourself an external flash drive here. I went and sorted by lowest price right here, and just typed in external SSD, and I went at least 1 terabyte. So 1 terabyte, up, sorted by low. So here's $60 for a terabyte flash, 61 terabyte. Let's see what happens if I take off the one and see what the cheapest one. Yeah, here we go. $82 for 2 terabytes. That's amazing, right? So it's out there. And then if you really need to look into getting a decent computer, yeah, here's the higher end, little higher end one. You can get ones for around $1,000. Should last you at least 3 years, maybe even four. But you can reduce that down. We can get rid of the higher end one. We can get it down under 1,000. But if you go under 800, you're probably not getting something very worthwhile. So I think of the i7, hit apply. You want 32 gigs of RAM. You want at least an 8 GB video card. Sort by lowest price. There we go. And wow, 1,500. So I think I must have marked something else on here. No, is it that much more? Huh, I'll be darned. Okay. Maybe if I put these other lower video cards that are just at 8 GB. There we go. Now it's getting down under 1,000. So there you go. I did what I could there to get it down low enough for you. So some combination of this and you should be good to go. All right. See you later.